Hey, hi everyone. Good evening, good morning. We'll wait for another minute and then start the session. Yeah, hi Nikhil, hi Jane, hi Sumant.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Okay, so it's 9:01. We'll wait for the minute. Meanwhile, Nikhil, Jane, Sumant, you guys want to uh, share a few details about you? Just a small intro, like what you guys do, and any prior experience in terms of databases or any other uh, hands-on experience you have it, and your expectation out of this course. Uh, Something which you can guys share.
Yeah, I will go ahead.
Sure,
Uh, my
thank you.
my name is Nikhil. I am working as a SQL Server DBA for past 12 years, and last 5 years I have been working as a Snowflake admin.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and out of this course, I am expecting to to get a in-depth knowledge of Oracle database administration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, definitely. So I think probably some of the topics might be little easy for you for comparison and understanding differences between different databases. You already, as you already have some understanding in those areas.
Yes, I mean architecture, backup concepts, index optimization. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those things will be easier for me to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, and Jean, I'm not sure if I pronounce your name correctly. Please pardon me. Uh, I hope I pronounce it rightly. Hi Mitra. Hi Prabhakar.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Mitra, if you can take a minute to share some details about you, like what do you do and what is your expectation out of the course, any other prior
Yeah.
experience, sort of thing.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Myself, Mitra. I'm working as a network administrator as of now, and I would like to expand my knowledge further. So I'm looking to achieve some basically certifications in
Mm-hmm.
database and administration side too.
Mm-hmm.
So with that point of view, I enrolled here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it could help me with achieving the certifications. I mean,
Okay.
I think I know that that is a long way going
Mm-hmm.
for a certification, but we need to start somewhere, right? So I'm just here today.
Got it. Got it. Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
Thank
Cool. Anyone else you want to go ahead? You want to share a few details about you?
Yeah, hi, I'm Sumant. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sumant, we can hear you.
Yeah, so basically, I don't have work experience, but recently I've learned SQL and everything. So I just want to see
Mm,
exactly what this course about and everything.
mm,
And I want to like learn more about databases. That's why I joined you.
mm. Got it. Definitely. Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So, I mean, sorry, I have one question.
Yeah,
So,
please go ahead.
yeah, so this is like I have basic SQL, I mean, good SQL, I mean, basic to good SQL knowledge.
Mhm.
So will that be sufficient to continue in this course?
Yes, yes. That
Mhm.
should be good because part of I will share the course curriculum once I start with the session, and we do cover some of the SQL topics out of that in case covering any folks who does not have the SQL experience, right? So we'll cover some of the basics in that in terms of SQLs, joins, different tables which we typically use from the auto box tables from the DBA perspective for it, or in general from SQL concept, because uh, be it as a developer or as a DBA, having a good understanding on SQL is very much needed as we work on it. So some part we do cover out it, and you, as you already have it, that would be easy for you to just have a small revision sort of thing out of it.
Okay, thank you. So what type of jobs would we get if we, like, normally on a Oracle database administrator? Like, normally, I
Yes,
don't, not very sure.
yes, definitely. I'll cover some of those things as from the roles and responsibilities side of it, and typical areas which we would cover for it. I'll cover it.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, I think it's 9:05. Probably we'll get started.
Right.
Just hey, so sorry, someone was saying, not sure. I see Jern and Prabhakar both.
Yeah, Prabhakar, this is I just wanted to more about me working for Oracle and MySQL database administration and looking for the advanced topics like racks and upgradation from my Oracle 11G to 19C. I'm looking
Okay.
for these concepts and also performance tuning about in Oracle.
Got it. Got it. I haven't covered the rack concept part of this course curriculum, but considering maybe depending on the level of experience people have it, maybe some of the topics we might cover little early, depending on the what do you call the experience level we get once we start with the session. I can try to cover some of those concept on rack. But as such, from the preliminary curriculum, what we tried, I haven't covered the rack concept in that yet. But I'll try to cover it as we can cover some of those topics a little early. I'll definitely include that.
Migration and upgradation also will cover in this.
Um, I would I've covered from the maintenance on the patching activities and upgrading activity, and migration we typically don't cover it from the DBA from the training perspective, because that's more to be done from the application side as well. So, but I can cover it like typically, let's say, as you take an example of from 11 to 19. So I can typically cover like what are the areas you might have it per se.
Thank you.
Yeah, because the migration it itself is a
Yeah,
very big topic to actually discuss, because that's not something what you call as a training sort of thing you can cover it. It's more from the use case or the what you call experience which you gain it, right? So
yeah,
that's why typically we don't cover it per thing, but I can try to cover it some of those areas.
yeah. Got it. Thank you.
No worries. Hey, hi Vivek, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, Venkat, and good evening.
Hi.
Uh, yeah, actually, I have knowledge of SQL, Oracle SQL, as well as basic Linux commands. Uh, I want to know
Mhm.
about the DBA course from the job perspective.
Mhm.
In the current scenario, where most of the automations are going on
Yes.
in the companies.
Mhm.
So, what are the current and future prospects of this course? I just
Mhm.
want to know in detail about that.
Yes,
So, whether
definitely.
it will be beneficial in that scenario.
Mhm. Definitely, definitely. Uh, yeah, I think it's definitely that's one of the what do you call important point to discuss. uh, for it, and I'll definitely try to share some details around these areas.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think obviously I completely understand uh, the necessity of, because when you start some course, definitely you will have the doubt like whether that will be useful for me, and keeping lot of automations and lot of AI sort of thing coming in picture, even with Oracle autonomous databases as well. And definitely you will have the doubt like we need to what do you call be on top of what is possible with existing automation, and obviously uh, growing or keeping ourselves to the be prepared for new stages as well. And yeah, and even coming with the Oracle database as well, there are because main covers to the in general to database, right? So there are lot of activities which typically as from the operations perspective, and typically from the maintenance perspective which we do, right? Some of those activities, maybe I would say around 50 to 60% common generic activities which any person in any organization or a project does. So at least these 50 to 60% of such activities, which are very common in nature, are currently being automated or being utilized in some of the other way of modeling sort of thing, right? And definitely the other 30 to 40%, whatever you have it, this variation is what makes you what you call from the role side as well. If I need to just be very specific in terms of the roles or what's being possible now. Same thing with the Oracle database as well. Okay. Be it table space management, or be it any security management, be it daily backups or such activities, right? So these are automated once we come on to the cloud as well. And definitely there are, again, out of these areas, around 50 to 60% are covered as the regular activities, but adding the additional layer like when to schedule your backups, for example, and how best you can schedule it, okay, and what regions, how you want to bifurcate the backup model as well, right? So that obviously depends on the problem solving skills and the additional inputs which you can provide part of these roles.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, I asked this question
Yes.
because recently I came across that most of the performance tuning parts are also covered inside that automation. So that is the thing I think, that's why it raised in my mind. Uh, because what will be in the future if these kind of activities are automated? So
Mhm.
what what will be a person's role who are sitting to do their jobs? So
And
that is why it arises in my mind.
nothing like nothing like person's role or something.
Mm,
It is a way to find out those
mm,
areas which
mm,
cannot be handled by the automation,
mm,
right?
mm,
So
mm, mm,
we need to provide that input. The If we need to automate something, it definitely
mm,
need to a value add to my day-to-day activities as well, right? So
mm,
end of the day, it's a human who is going to take a decision whether to what you call turn off the system or give turn on the system, right? So how much ever data you collect, how much ever automation you do, how much ever modeling you do it,
mm,
eventually at the other end, it's a human who is going to use information.
mm, mm. Okay. Thanks, Venkat. Thanks for clarification. Yeah.
No worries. No. Okay. Yeah, I think we have a good number now. Okay. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining this session. Okay. So good morning, good evening, based on the time zone which you are present. and welcome to batch 359 for Oracle DBA. I hope you guys are able to see my screen. Okay, just raise your hand or just unmute and just to make sure that my screen is visible to you guys.
Yes, I can see your
Yeah,
screen.
it's visible.
Thank you. Thank you. Uh, okay, so I said this is batch 359 for Oracle DBA specific, and part of this batch we'll be covering, which is starting today, 14th of October, and this is every day 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST, and this is an approximate 40-day course. Maybe if needed, any new topics, any new clarifications or things which might arise, I'm happy to extend or spend another couple of days or so. So approximately 40 days is what uh, we thought we'll be able to cover it and give you the right experience in terms of and confidence in terms of some of those activities and roles which we are going to discuss about. And and again, few common things which based on the what you call questions or FAQs which typically we get after the registration, right? So the first three sessions are free to attend, and all these recordings of these sessions will be available for you, and you would have the link, the recording link, which is communicated to you over the WhatsApp community as well. And same thing will be available on the logiclabs.com portal on the course link as well. And the first two sessions are open recordings, anyone can access. And the third session, the day three recording, uh, it's an open session for everyone who wants to join, but just that the recording of from day three onwards will be available only for the paid participants. So the first 3 days, feel free to join the session from 9 p.m. IST, and we'll try to make sure uh, your questions, doubts, clarifications, whatsoever it is, feel free to raise it, and we'll try to answer those questions and make sure you are clear in terms of the topics what we are covering. And in case any doubts or so, we'll try to clarify that. And obviously, it's a very huge topic, right? Oracle database itself is a very huge, and probably out of this 40 days or 40 hours of session, there would be some topics we would be covering as a self-learning thing, and there will be some topics which I'll be covering as part of the hands-on activity. And obviously, these two activities doesn't cover the whole 40 years journey of a database enterprise, right? So there are a lot of things which are from self-learning. My intention out of this course is to keep you in a confident position where you can handle and tackle the discussions whenever you get into in terms of the Oracle database. Okay. So there can be few nuts and bolts which is typically part of the experience. Once you gain the knowledge, once you start the discussion, so you would understand those nuts and bolts easily. And once you have the uh, done the what you call registration, you would have the access to the LMS portal as well, what we call as Graphy. And every day, the recorded sessions as well as the daily notes, whatever we use, will be available over the LMS portal for you. Once the daily session are done, you can access them. Okay, and all the details in terms of daily schedules, whatever we go through, are communicated over the WhatsApp community link. And feel free to join the community. You can open logiclab tech.com, the URL of the portal, and you can navigate to the upcoming batches. You can see the batch 359 for Oracle DBA, and you can see all the links for the first 3 days free registration or the free open session links and the payment link as well as the WhatsApp community link. You can join the community and you can go through the content as well. uh, I'll show the content over the PDF, which you can access it for yourself as well. We would be covering about the operating system level from Linux. We'll be covering about the basic architecture around Linux, how Linux works out in general as an operating system. What are the different layers within that, and what are the common commands to access some of these the work with Linux, right? Because it's very common, just like Windows, how we access with folders, etc., the users and all. So something from the backend which we typically access from the command lines of Linux, we'll be covering all those activities with the commands at Linux level as well. And we'll be covering how to handle the permissions and how to handle users, etc. Because once uh, when I talk about database or in general for database administration, there are few common requirements which you typically have it, right? Maybe I would say like understanding the Linux or having a good handhold of the operating system level covers about, like I would say, about uh, around 8 to 10% of the daily work. You would definitely handle that. And it eventually requires all the permissions regarding the security, regarding the storage, etc., mounting, etc. You would require all those activities from the Linux part of it. And other would be the small hands-on or a working session with SQLs, where we'll be working on different out-of-box tables which are available with Oracle, which were daily, day-to-day usage variables, like be it session, be it table spaces, be it file management, be it tables, be it meta, any meta information related to Oracle. Some of those out-of-box tables, we would be covering all those things, the importance of those tables, what does each table consist of, and how you can utilize those tables to part of your day-to-day activities, etc. And eventually, it's not, you're not going to run those things every minute, right, to check some of those activities. You can use them into some of those reports, some of the SQL things. You can schedule them to get the notifications or alert sort of thing from the database based on utilizations as well, and lot of other activities which you can do on top of that. So any common things which typically a data developer who would reach out to database regarding some of those development related or support or operations related activities, we would, it's well and good, or it it's kind of what you call bare minimum. Even a database administrator should have understanding of it, and so we would cover some of those areas. So, and even though from the developer perspective, they might just create a few things and utilize few things from application point of it, but from the actual usage from the database maintenance, because you are the owner of the database as the administrator, right? So it's your responsibility where the data is getting stored, how the data is getting accessed. So that's going to be your day-to-day activity. So you maintain, you own the complete database. So in simple terms, right? So that's how it builds everything or answers everything in terms of database. So people who are already working on any of the database, you have experience on it. Part of your day-to-day works, you might have encountered these things, right? Anything you've a system shut down or instance goes down, your first point comes up in your mind is contact the DBA, or let's say you need some additional mounted directories, mounted additional space. You want to understand the utilization of the spaces, how many users are present in, how many active users, how many inactive users, or the SOX compliance from the database. All the things whichever comes up, the first answer which comes to you in your mind is a database administrator. So there would be a database development team as well who would eventually be required from the development perspective, but admin kind of like owner of the database completely. And we would be covering about the installation part, understanding the architecture of database, how the Oracle architect, how the Oracle database actually works, what are the different logical segments in the database, different processes within the database, which we would be covering as part of the DB activities or developer activities. It's like DBA need to know more about those processes, how it works out. From a developer side, developer is essentially good to know those activities. So few things we need to balance it out, right? So maybe writing the applications, PL SQLs, lot of things, developer should be completely aware of it. And DBA may not know the application logic behind it, but he needs to know what is happening around it. Right? So when he sees it, he can understand what's happening out. Eventually, that's where he can support from the operations activities as well. And the other activities typically the what you call instance management, the database configurations, you do it, user management or the role management, which we typically do it, and the security part of it, how to install those different type of securities, right? Different type of certificates which are required, how to handle the wallets which you are going to use it. So all those because your database administrator will also have an equal responsibility in terms of understanding the uh, uh, security of data, both in transit as well as rest. So he owns the data, right? So from in transit probably will be a common responsibility between a developer and an admin. But from database at rest, it would be completely in the hands of the DBA. So he needs to take care of the security aspect of it as well. And how the physical files are handled, how the logical spaces are handled, both in terms of table spaces and the physical files. How the handling of this, how the managing of this data happens out from the database side of it. And eventually, a lot of other things in terms of different table spaces, the undo table space or the redo logs, different control files, how the configuration to be done, what type of control to be done, each of these configuration files, what needs to be done along with these things, right? And archive log files, how it needs to be maintained, like different data persisting or different GDPR rules comes in effect for it, and you're going to retention policies come in effect for it. So based on that, he needs to take care of all such activities which are happening on the database for it, and maintaining of DB links between different databases, right? So we need to make sure that DB link is uh, 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 up and running once in operation phase. Probably your development team probably might take care of the initial development activity. Once that is done, the operations team needs to take care of it. So it comes into the hands of DBA at the later point in the life cycle to make sure that those are completely working fine and good. Eventually, it's all in the data. All the thing whatever we're discussing is with the data. Now you need to make sure that database is having 100% uptime, or maybe 99, if it's 99.99%, whatever be the percentage we are talking about, the SLS need to maintain, right? And your data backup needs to be handled, and the cloning needs to be handled from different requests from the projects team. If a new project setting up, they might ask the database team to spun up a new instance and copy the data from production to a new instance. Part of these cloning, there might be a request to clone the complete data as is, or there might be a request to mask the data. There might be a request to clone the partial data of it, depending on the data policies which each and every organization follow. So each of those things need to be configured, needs to be handled to make sure your projects are running successfully as well. And eventually, the performance will be one of the other day-to-day activity for, right. So any production instance, any development instance, whatever it is, performance will be one of the daily activities, both developer as well as admin. So going to cover each and everything in terms of performance tuning as well, how to generate those reports, how to understand different logs which are being applied, where you can see those logs which are getting applied, and how to how to manage those logs, and whom and how to be when some of those performance. So we cannot purely say that it's a DBA responsibility or a DBA activity to manage those things. Right? It goes hand in hand between the development team as well as DBA. So if developer does not write a query properly, you cannot blame a DBA that saying that instance is running slow, because some other process is utilizing huge amount of resources. So DBA may not know when that is getting filed, right? But he need to at least know something is utilizing my resource to a larger extent than the required threshold. So he needs to be alerted based on those things. So that way he can make sure that your production system is not hampered completely. So all these things comes part of your database. I think people who have the experience working in those areas, probably you might have seen some of those topics already. So we would cover all those areas, and eventually at the end would be, it's an licensed product or an enterprise application. You would have a support team from the product as well who is going to support you or help you, and both for what you call on-premise or from the cloud database. So what are the different process you're going to follow for the Oracle support to handle that with? So we're going to cover these all these areas, part of this course curriculum. And I'll pause in a minute here. Let me know in case any questions, any doubts, any clarifications. So any of the topic, in case you cannot use mic, feel free to use the chat window. Any questions, any doubts, any clarifications, any areas which you feel you want to cover them up, part of this which are not present, please do let me know. I will try to make a note of it, and based on the time we'll be covering these topics, I'll definitely consider those things, and we'll try to cover those areas to the extent possible. Okay, I believe all good. Okay, Vivek, will it cover AWR? Yes, part of performance tuning, I'll cover those AWR. How to generate those AWR, how to convert, understand those reports, both AWR, trace files, TK-prof files, we will cover those things. I hope I answered your question. Sure, thank you. Okay, and probably in case you feel you want to take some time to go through the course content, make yourself comfortable, as I shown you, you can navigate to the upcoming batches on the Oracle DBA. You can go to the course content to access this PDF document for all the topics we are going to cover it here. Okay, I see a hand raised. Nikhil, you have a question?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So,
please.
what we will cover in terms of high availability and disaster recovery?
Yes, for both part of the restoring, we would cover those activities for it.
Okay.
So there are few configuration board in terms of multiple nodes you maintain typically from databases, and multiple instance you run in parallel, and how we keep the cloning and data guards, how we set up the data guards, especially, right? And to maintain, if one goes down, how the data guard works out to maintain the copy from the other instance. Same way, how the recovery will happen from this perspective as well.
Okay, thank you.
No. Okay. Yeah. In case you have any other question, please do. Okay, I see a question from Ajit. Yes, Ajit, we do have a data card for it. We would cover how to set up those things, how it works out in with Oracle. We will cover it. Cool. Yeah, as mentioned, please about 1 second. Please let us know about the software hardware required also for the practice purpose. Yes, Vivek, I will cover it. As I mentioned, for the demo sessions, I'm not going in detail about the technicalities for it. From the third day, the last day of demo, I would share all those details so that start of the session, you will be prepared for it. And I will share the details both from the what you call on-premise instance as well as the cloud instance. I'll cover both the topics and we would cover from starting from installation activity for it.
Uh, Sir, one more question.
Yes,
Most of the Oracle openings I see, they mention something like Golden Gate. So
Golden
is it a
Gateway.
very mandatory thing for an Oracle DBA?
Not for Oracle DBA. What typically happens, right? So with both from the real-time uh, as a managed service or real-time high availability, or Golden Gateway is one of the service or feature which Oracle provides it. And from the streaming processing sort of thing, right? So it's one of the other application which we typically use along with the Oracle database. And it's not that everyone uses Golden Gateway, but some of the on-premise enterprises who typically are using Oracle database and they maintain multiple instances and having what you call huge amount of data processing sort of thing, uh, they do use Golden Gate in between for it. And again, it's not that mandatory for everyone, but understanding about Golden Gateway is uh, would be a good add-on for you.
Okay, thank you.
No, because it's from like the replication strategy how it works out, right? It's little different because let's say if uh, let's say you have Oracle as a transactional system, for example, right? So you need to have these transactional data also replicated at real time, right? It's not it's not like it's not just for data warehouses sort of thing, right? So data warehouses, you have little flexibility or lenience in terms of getting those backups and restoring everything. But for real-time transactional data, where you get millions of transactions every minute or in every hour, and you want to make sure that these backups or data replication between different instances are taken care at a much precise manner, then we use Golden Oracle recommends using Golden Gateway in between so that it helps you in some of these DB activities which are typically required for it. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No, come back here. So yeah, feel free to go through the course content and happy to clarify that. And always, I mean, obviously, I don't think it's required at this moment. Anytime during the course you have any question, feel free to raise your hand or what do you call ask any question. So it's it's better to raise a ask the question instead of keeping that in mind for what do you call any clarification or any doubt. And typically seen people who join uh, like what you call who have some little bit of developer experience and who wants to understand from the DP or gain more knowledge or experience from database side. So typically people do join for it, and I've seen some of you have the administration experience in other databases already. So some of those roles and responsibilities are look might be very familiar to you. And in case it's only developers who have joined it, and we typically take it in when I said developer, obviously it's a multi-facet terminology, right? So it's going to be its role and responsibilities or tech stack which they you handle are going to be uh, very much different from the tech stacks and the areas which they work out. So typically, if I talk about this in backend or a database developer, and backend we typically call it as very common terminology as a backend. Right? But from backend, they could be database could be one of the application as a backend for it. Is Oracle Labs DBA same as Oracle DBA or different? Okay. Uh, Oracle Apps DBA is little closer to DBA, okay, but the thin line of difference for it, right? Because where we handle specific application, right? Just like Oracle Apps, it is specific application which is deployed on the Oracle database. The backend or the system you use is Oracle database. So the patching activity for you will be both an application patching as well as the DBA patching as well. So the it runs on Oracle DB, a custom application or enterprise application which is running on Oracle in simple terms. So even as a database administrator, right, you would have uh, the apps DBA. The role and responsibility will be additional activity you do along with the regular DB activity. So it's like Oracle DBA is generic in nature. Oracle Apps DBA is very specific to certain applications which are developed on the Oracle database. I hope I answered your question. Any doubts or anything? Okay, cool. Yeah. In general, from backend, so as we're talking about just Oracle developer, covered on like Oracle SQL and PL SQL. Maybe with SQL Server, you might have like SQL, which is very common again, and T SQL with in comparison to the PL SQL, which is for the SQL Server. And designing of your database objects, SQLs, everything uh, are covered part of it. So in general, from the schema definition, tables creation, all the stored objects, whatever you create it, maintaining of those things, from the development, which is typically you create some components to do some activities as an application, right? So all the backend activities, which typically we call it as a database developer, which is like a subset of backend developer again. Okay, I see a question. Okay, Srinivas, I have Oracle PL SQL developer experience, and but not DBA. I want to move to DBA. Yes, Srinivas, it definitely helps you out in case for long run, if you want to keep it specific to Oracle database, you can start with Oracle Database Administrator, and eventually you can what do you call expand your skill set in other areas with SQL Server or any other Golden Gateway or any other areas as well. So it it's all like progression, right? If I talk about database developer from PL SQL development experience, you have it, you can become maybe a what do you call a designer or a lead PL SQL, maybe an architect or the backend or database architect. So who would be very specific from the data architecture point of view. Now, the overlapping or the mapping role for you on the DPA side is more from the administration part of it from a DPA, right? So one using the database, one maintaining or managing the database. So both go hand in hand in any project. So scaling up on the Oracle DBA will definitely help you in long run. You will get more clarity on how the Oracle works out. Maybe tomorrow we do not know whether you will be inclined towards the developer role or inclined towards the DBA role as you progress in your career. But having both as a developer as well as DBA knowledge will definitely help you out in long run. I hope I answered your question. Okay, cool. No worries. Okay. An application developer which is specific to applications again, right? Be it the backend applications you do, be it any application, any general software, any product or any application you develop. So his role and responsibilities are going to be little different from the application side, from the business logic, everything you required from it. And yeah, administrator like hand in hand with both develop their backend database developer or the application developer with the DBA. So it's just like additional scope, additional work which DBA does it on top of database developer. So, okay. And just putting down the course curriculum once again out here, that in case different topics. So we'll try to segregate into different areas to work out, and we'll be covering all those areas a part of these sessions. Okay. So, okay. Any questions, any doubts, any clarifications? We'll utilize the next 5-10 minutes to clarify those questions. And in tomorrow's session, we will be covering about some basics around the topics what we are going to cover from Linux, and some basic around the Oracle architecture, how Oracle architecture works out, what are the different flavors in it, and we'll be covering those things. And day three session, we'll be covering from the different requirements or prerequisite requirements part of the session and all. We will be covering those things. Okay. Question from Nikhil. Will notes and scripts be provided for quick revision of course? Uh, when you say about quick revision of course, can you repeat that, Nikhil? I didn't get that.
Sir, I mean, when we go through the course and complete course, uh, we will practice the stuff and
Yes.
let's say we are applying for the job, but after 2, 3 months we may forget things. So for the
Mhm.
quick revision, I mean,
Yes.
during
What
the
I
job
will
finding
do is
interviews. Yeah.
I will share some of the self-learning PDF documents which will be helpful for you. The day-to-day activities, what typically does it, everything, and any content which I share it on the day-to-day, what do you call the daily notes, whatever I'll maintain running notes, everyday running notes. End of the session, these running notes along with the recorded session will be uploaded on the LMS portal, which you can access on a day-to-day basis. So every week, whatever topic you are covering, not just every week, every day you can cover that running notes. You can refer it any day, and on every week we will try to have some sort of homework or assignment for the weekend. Okay, so that way you can spend some extra time over the weekend, and you can revise the topics whatever we covered in that week as a small assignment, and get comfort you get hands-on as you do that. Okay, I hope that will be helpful.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, I see a question from Vivek. How many sessions per week? Vivek, this is every weekday, Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. IST, and weekend, Saturday and Sunday. End of the Friday session, so end of Friday session, we would have some sort of assignment or homework for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, so that you can practice, spend some time. So whatever we cover, don't keep it only that hour session. At least try to spend hour or two for yourself, and try to do bit of what you call googling, searching it over, trying different concepts, different varieties and all, so you will easily understand or gain more knowledge in terms of how it is used, how different variations people are being using it. So obviously, as it's more from practically how much effort we can put in on top of it. Obviously, every day 1 hour session may not be what you call fruitful completely, like a very big topic, right? So we'll cover some use case, how to understand the use case, how to configure those things. We'll cover the topic by topic for it. But different permutations, combinations which are possible, it varies with a small change in the use case in your life, right? Similarly, even with the DB activities as well. And recording access validity, this would be, I believe it's lifelong. As long as you have access to the LMS portal, you can access the recording. And in case you missed any of the day session, you can go through the recording once again, and you can practice them during your leisure time as well, in case you missed any of the day session. But exact validity time period, I may not have it in my mind at the moment, but feel free to reach out to the support team of Logic Labs. They would be the right team who can confirm on it. As long as I remember, there is no time period as such for it. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone? Any doubts? Any clarifications? Yeah. I see a hand raised by Srinivas. Srinivas, you have any question?
No, actually, I supposed to uh, raise, lower the hand. I forgot. I'm good.
No worries.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Okay. If no other questions, probably we'll pause in the session here for today. We will connect tomorrow for the second demo session, and we will learn about the basic architecture of the operating system with Linux, and how in general Linux is different from the Oracle Linux, which is available by Oracle Enterprise itself, which is typically they recommend using Oracle Linux for it. So depends on the enterprise architecture as well, whether to use Red Hat Linux or Oracle Linux typically, but Oracle recommends to use Oracle Linux per se. So and we will discuss different variations within the different features what's available within that, and we'll have the architecture background of the Oracle database in tomorrow's session along with it. Okay, cool. Any other questions, anyone? Shoaib, can we start the batch at 9:30 p.m.? Mm, I cannot comment on it right now, Shoaib, because it's planned from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Probably you can put down this request to the support team in case they get what do you call majority of people who opt for 9:30. Probably we can have it at 9:30. Not a problem from my side, but depends on other participants who registered for the course as well. So put down this request to the support team. They can help you with the right direction for it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, okay, guys. If no other questions, we will wrap the session here for today. We'll meet tomorrow, same time, 9 p.m. IST, and we will discuss on the Linux architecture and Oracle architecture topics. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.